Hello and welcome to None of Your Business, the podcast that takes a lighthearted look at life outside of work. Joining me today is a very close friend of mine, a former colleague. He's the co-founder and creative director of Homey. He also is a recent recipient of an Order of Australia medal. And we are filming on a location with a photo studio because it's a real passion of his and when we first met, his love of photography and my love of journalism. On this show today, we talk about his early sporting career being a prodigy, playing almost AFL in the inaugural GWS Giants side, fielding for Sachin Tendulkar in cricket, his love of travel and his volunteering work in Brazil, and all his thoughts on AI and the future of creativity. Thanks for listening and hope you enjoy the show.
So where's the office, back in division? Yeah, in the office, baby.
None of your business. None of your business. None of your business. None of your business.
Welcome to None of Your Business, a podcast that takes a look at life outside of work. My name is Nick Pearce. I am the co-founder, former CEO of Homey, now CEO of the Pearce household. Joining me today is a very special guest, in fact. He's a recent recipient of an Order of Australia medal. He's a Winston Churchill Fellow. He's the creative director of Homey and Reborn, and he's an all-around great bloke. It's Marcus Crook.
Thanks for having me, Nick. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you.
Mate, it's good to have you. It's a bit of a surreal moment to have you on the show. I guess I've had Danny, my wife, who's been an integral part of my last decade, but probably just as much, even more. So it might be yourself.
Yeah, second husband.
Yes, we spent a lot of time together and many great stories. But obviously this show focuses very much on life outside of work and what you're known for. And I love the backdrop of the photo studio because that's very much your roots and where we met and one of your great talents, which there are many. I don't want to sort of pump up your tyres too much, and you're a very humble guy, but as I say, your sporting achievements are very impressive. I mean, pre-Homey days, you were in the foundational Giants side. I think Sheeds just cut you before they became formal, and you've also manned the pitch and was a fielder for Sachin Tendulkar when they were playing on the G one day. So I wouldn't mind you telling me a bit about your footy career and that time at the peak of your powers. You're a raking left footer. Nickname was Jesus, I think, from memory, because you had the long black hair. And you still have a great kick on you. But it's pretty amazing and admirable to have that level of talent, as an athlete, and then also have that translate across to quite a creative, career that you've ended up in. So tell us a bit about the Giants days and what happened there.
Yeah, I guess going back, come from Colac, big sporting community, played a lot of cricket and footy as a junior. I guess I was heavily involved in cricket more so, playing in the under 15 and under 17 Victorian teams. And that story about Tendulkar was before the under 17 carnival, the Victorians were playing India at the MCG, and the day before I'd made 50 and they invited two of us. One was myself and the other was Brett Deledio.
Wow.
Former Tigers captain, to field on the MCG.
No one draft pick.
Field on the MCG with Victoria, and the Indians were batting at the time. Amazing. So I was out there for 15 overs, I think, and Rahul Dravid was smacking the ball towards me and I was shitting myself. I got to bowl to Sehwag in the nets, and
oh my God.
it was an amazing experience as a 17-year-old. I got to shake Tendulkar's hand after the game, which I have thought about not washing for a while, but it was an amazing experience. And then obviously what did it feel like to be out there? Like so you're a teenager and these are global superstars. Like, what did that feel like as a young fella? As you say, you were shitting yourself. Yeah. How did you also feel that day? Oh, I mean, when you're young and you're just straight into it, you don't really think about really what's going on at the time. It was sort of only later in life that I've been able to reflect on it and think about how great of an experience it actually was.
Awesome.
Obviously a Coliseum of the MCG. Just having some of those players that were on that field, that went on to be, Hall of Fame cricketers, was quite extraordinary.
Yeah. And then your footy career. So, I mean, you've had that experience, but then as I say, you've almost got within an inch of your life to being on an AFL list. I know you're very humble about that as well, but you played footy in Canberra for a long time and one of the favourite sons there. So I'd like you to take us back to sort of that time in your life and what happened there. I mean, I'm sure you don't regret where you've ended up because you're doing just as, if not more amazing things than those two pathways. But it's bloody impressive, as you say, and probably haven't had a chance to reflect on those achievements. But could you take us back to that time when you were, on the cusp of that and what that was like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had played under 18s for the Geelong Falcons.
Yep.
Managed to win the best and fairest there. And
who was in the side, if you don't mind me asking as well, at the time?
We had Sean Higgins, Travis Boak,
Wow.
Jeffrey Simpkin. I'm trying to think of who else.
That's a
got
good deck of
drafted
cards.
from- yeah.
I remember you reached
But
out to.
they were
Yeah.
bottom. Sean Higgins and Travis Boak were both bottom age. I must preface that. But yeah, it was a very good team. We made finals, but we got kicked out that year.
Yep.
But and then I went on to Box Hill after that.
The Mustangs, shout out.
And played 2 years there and ended up breaking my leg in the second year where I was training with Hawthorn in the full pre-season and
Wow.
broke my leg before the start of round one in the last pracky match. So, that was a hard one to come back from and the opportunity came up to move to Canberra with a bunch of other fellas that were on that Box Hill list and wanted to change and wanted to do something different and thought the footy career was sort of over, in terms of getting to that top level, but did all right up there and
More than all right.
yeah, ended up playing in the Australian Country Championships and getting the player of the tournament and was asked to come and train with the Giants when they were coming into the league.
Yep.
Because they still needed top up players on their list and stuff. So was able to play in the NAB Cup with them. So against Gold Coast and Sydney, and then Port Adelaide and Carlton.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience running around against Goodsey, my, childhood hero. Barracking for the Swans and, tackling Chris Judd on Monica Oval and stuff like that.
Did you pin him? Did you actually get him?
Yeah. So there's,
awesome.
it was amazing experience, and I'm glad that I got to, have a crack at that, even if it was for a short amount of time. Yeah, it's something that I'll always remember. Was
there anyone in the Giants team that's still playing in that inaugural side that was there?
Yeah, Jeremy Cameron was there.
Oh, wow.
And then, there was a few. Dylan Shield was there, but he's now at Essendon, obviously. And then there's a few other players getting around.
Mate, it's bloody cool. And again, one of the reasons I wanted to sort of do this program is I don't think many people would know that side of you. I mean, you've been twice ranked in the top 50 people in e-commerce in Australia. You've won all these accolades in this fashion world, and you're synonymous with Homie. You are the brand, but I mean, these are two amazing sort of factoids, which I think are really impressive. But you're so humble that you probably never have spoken about them before, and it's probably uncomfortable to talk about some of those achievements. But I think it's worth noting. But I guess post those sort of careers and remedying and rectifying that, it was going to be a different sort of course of action for yourself. I feel like travel played a big part in sort of the next phase of your life and your interest in photography, and hence us being in a studio and shooting in a photo studio. So Absolutely. I'd love to hear about some of those formative trips for you. I mean, I remember probably I met you just after you'd been in Brazil and worked on a campaign, Fight for Favelas, and saw some amazing shots from that. So where did that interest in photography come from and the travel bug? Yeah, I think it's just the photography was, came from traveling and just meeting people and wanting to document things. Yeah, I did a trip in Brazil where, volunteering in the favelas over there with my sister, and had done another trip where I met yourself at Ride to Rescue, where we rode 1,000 Ks in 10 days. Yep. And, just documenting that. And, I love people, I love emotion and capturing what's going on at the time. And that's sort of where the photography came, and just try to document those moments so I could remember them forever. And it's sort of grown into what we're doing with Homie and sort of, capturing that spirit as well, I think is a huge part of, why the brand's done well is just capturing that raw emotion and,
of the people that wear our clothes and the people that we support and all the rest of it. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed just meeting all the people along the way and try to capture that spirit.
And where did that sort of community service element come from? So I wouldn't mind hearing a bit more about the fight for favelas and I guess like your family values and sort of you're one of six.
Yeah.
So big family, raised in the country. So was that something that was instilled by your parents and that community service? I feel like that's a big part of your fabric and your makeup and your soul.
Yeah, 100%. Dad, has been a teacher all his life, and Mum worked in aged care, and Dad worked at a school in Colac where for a number of years where the kids that, were suspended from school would go. So
did you end up there?
Yeah. No, I didn't end up there, but I did end up there after school, on many, many occasions, and, was hanging out with these young people at a really young age. And I think that was formidable in, shaping who I am today, and in the sense that was always taught not to take things for granted and sort of, walk a mile in someone else's shoes and understand things from other people's perspective. And I think, Mum and Dad have done such an amazing job with all of us kids.
Yeah, not one bad egg in there, that's for sure.
And I think that was a big part of shaping my teenage years into adulthood for sure.
So what were you doing in the favelas themselves? Like what was the volunteer work that you were undertaking?
Yeah, I met Alan, who is the head of Impact at Homie. We were working in a community garden over there.
Amazing.
And I was also teaching soccer and volleyball and playing with the kids. On concrete soccer pitches in the middle of the favelas, and I was also in an English program as well at another school. So, it was an amazing experience just to go in there every day and see how people have grown up in Brazil and what they have and what they don't have as well. It was really grounding, coming from Victoria and Australia.
Well, then let's talk a little bit about how we met and the Ride to Rescue bike ride trip, because that was a lot of fun. I got to say, Prepus, remember when we met? I think it was Naked for Satan. We at a rooftop through kind of the group that had organised it, and we're probably different ends of the spectrum in terms of you're probably a bit more of an introvert, I'm more of an extrovert, and I wasn't sure what your read was of me. And I remember rocking up to it was Ho Chi Minh City. It was evening, and I remember it vividly because it was the day that. I got off the plane and I got a message saying that Paul Walker had passed away, and I'm a massive Fast and Furious stan, and it sticks out. Like I remember that, vividly in my recall, and seeing yourself there on the bus, and we're doing this journey over a week and riding from Vietnam to Cambodia, and I remember we were kind of some of the younger guys, so I was hoping to hang out with you, and again, I wasn't sure what you read of me, but I remember after that first day, we did this ride and got into our hotel, and my hotel room, phone's ringing straight away. You're like, it's Crooksy, let's go for a beer. And we hit it off, and wasn't it just an awesome trip? It would be great to sort of try and capture the essence or spirit of it, but how cool was it when we were sort of just riding on these open roads in the stinking heat, sweating, bullets, and then enjoying ourselves afterwards with a couple and rinse and repeating. It was a good time.
Oh, it was absolutely magical riding through, the jungles of Vietnam.
Yeah.
And, doing it for, such an important cause as well. And obviously you went back the following year to see the results of the fundraising. So, it was an amazing experience, and it's formed many great friendships, not only us, but many others who were on that trip as well. And it's definitely one of the fondest memories I have for sure.
And you've got that great video, I'll try and find it. We might have been able to overlay it a bit with the recording here. But as you say, capturing that human spirit and emotion. And I'll never forget walking into that. It was called the Cham Khan Nol Province School, and it was this one school in a very remote region, dirt floors, chalkboards, and us walking in as a group, and then having the school there and sort of welcoming us. It was such a powerful moment. We played like Duck Duck Goose. If you remember that, I
Yeah,
think you
yeah.
captured it on camera.
Yeah.
I remember I'd bought like these Rockstar like Ray-Ban glasses, and I was like, oh, these are sick, but they cost me like so much at the time. And then I remember a kid just whacked them on, and I was like, nah, like they're yours now. Like it didn't matter. You know what I mean? It was one of those amazing experiences where you're just so in the moment, and it was magical, as you say. And I guess it feels to me like that probably fueled both of us to come back and do the homie stuff, which again, we're not going to talk a whole lot about because the focus is on what Marcus does when he's not homieing. But I guess I also preface and say that you're probably one of, if not the most hardworking person I know, and it's such a big part of your, life and identity is this, and you poured so much into it. So, I mean, the recent recognition has been more than justly deserved, but you were recognised with this Winston Churchill Fellowship. My first question is, did you get to meet Winston himself, or
No, not quite.
did you leave a hologram for you?
No, I saw him on the, I think it's a $50 pound note.
Yeah.
When I was over there and went to his statue.
So what was that like? So you've been this award and you've been able to travel the world with it and essentially focus on an area. Like obviously you're a designer and creative director, but another thing you've been really interested in is, I guess, landfill and waste and upcycling. And that's been a huge kind of personal endeavor. So I'd love to hear a bit about that project and what you did on that trip.
Yeah, it was an amazing trip, and I'm so thankful and grateful for the experience from the trust. And I guess I wanted to, like, obviously working in fashion, and that there's obviously it can be a very exploitive industry and a very wasteful industry as well, and just grappling that when we're like supporting a community here in Melbourne, and there's like a lot of that happens within the industry, and just trying to be, as responsible as we can. And the waste is a big part of it, and, see so much overproduction, and really wanted to just go and learn about the whole supply chain and see what we could be doing better, what people are doing in Europe in terms of recycling, upcycling, pre-order models, like all types of different avenues, and sort of capture all of that, and then work out, what could we be doing here in Australia, and like what pieces are missing. And it was really interesting to see, places like Denmark where they have textile sorting, and, on curbside, like we would have, aluminium pickup. So like things like that where, there's real structure, and, I think here we have a lot of the solutions, but there's no key infrastructure to bring it all together and sort of tackle the issue head on. Everyone's sort of in their own, I guess, silos. So that was really interesting to see. And also the people element, like talk a lot about circular fashion and circular solutions, but there was a real people element, visiting Homeboy Industries and seeing, former gang members and people coming out of incarceration and getting jobs in screen printing, dog grooming, their clothing store. They had 14 different social enterprises. It was actually like looking at Homie 30 years in the future, because they were 30 years old, we were 20 years in the future.
Yeah.
The amount of social enterprises and opportunities and support they were providing people coming out of incarceration was just truly amazing enough. That was a real light bulb moment in the fact that, people are a big part of this circular movement, and that's sort of what we're doing here as well with Homie. And it was, so I went to many different places all over the world, and it was the report will come out very soon, and hopefully someone can get something out of it.
We'll look forward to watching it. So like you made a documentary from memory. So again, I'm sort of in awe of your talents because, you're a very talented photographer, videographer. There's all these layers and dimensions. Athlete, by the looks of it, also a Grammy Award-winning singer, rapper in Eminem. Some shady. But, I guess where did those skills come from? How did you, you sort of mentioned you just started doing it, but like how did you sort of harness those and, channel them into something really constructive and productive? Where did you realise, actually, I'm all right at taking a photo, or I can press play on it. Not that it's that simple per se, but when did you sort of start getting interested in that stuff and think, oh yeah, I could do this?
I think it's just learn by doing, really. And, obviously the travel sort of, got me into photography, and then video stuff when we were like documenting, when we were first starting with Homie, and other not-for-profits I was working with. So I definitely think it is just a case of getting out there and doing things and trying and learning and evolving. And I think sort of my perspective is sort of being in the viewer's eyes and like what they would want to see, whether it's a photo, whether it's video, whether it's like clothing, what they wear, just trying to be in like the customer or the viewer's eyes is sort of how I like to think when I'm taking photos, videos, or working on a garment example.
And I feel like it's brought you to some pretty amazing places and people. I wouldn't mind rehashing some of your encounters. I mean, you mentioned on the football field and the cricket pitch who you've come across. One of my favourite yarns is, I think it was more recently in sort of an amateur cricket competition, you came across Matty Lloyd, the great Lordo, and had a good insight around his favourite tipple of choice, which is quite an unconventional drink, one would
Cruises.
say. Yeah, so could you tell us about that day when you played against...
Well, it was Bacardi Breezes, I forget. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
Had a good battle against Lloydie, actually. I was playing for Churnside Park. Cheltenham Park. With my cousin out that way, and he's actually quite a good bowler, like fast opening bowler.
Okay.
And
I feel like very technical, like sound. I reckon I could imagine
he did not miss. He put a 50-cent piece down. He would have hit it.
Good line and length.
Like 8 out of 10 times, I reckon.
It's like the grass in the air. So
And very good bowler. I ended up actually making 98 that day
off him. So he can't be that good if he's
he was very good.
Very handy.
But I then got him out as well, bowling off spin. So
how many did he make?
Had a good day against him, but I don't know. I think he was around double figures mainly.
Okay.
Or could have been just under. But so that was an awesome experience.
And post-match, something that sort of took you by surprise was his favourite beverage of choice, and you sort of thought maybe he was buying for others in the room, but he was double parked with a lolly drink. Is that right?
Yeah. I think it's sort of well known in the circles that he prefers the lolly waters over beers and stuff. So. All power to him.
Yeah. I remember my Bucks party, which was quite famed in Queenstown, we all did like the footy photo, and we called the vodka cruisers, we coined the term Lordos, and having a Lordo, and we did the team photo, and we had a few footy boys in there, and we did the hashtag on Twitter, whatever, to the footy show, and I think Collinsy got around it. So as you say, it is well known. But a couple of your other sort of celebrity encounters, I mean, I feel like you've met some big names in your time. I mean, Meghan Markle was definitely an experience for us, or for yourself. And then also the GQ Awards night, there was a couple of famous faces. You ended up at the urinal next to someone who's one of the biggest names in Hollywood and had an interaction. So I wouldn't mind hearing about that one, because that was a moment in time when someone was in character almost, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Austin Butler.
Because
I was next to him on the other side.
I can see him in my brain, but
He's a pretty handsome guy. Yeah.
That's a great story. We're at the GQ Awards. There was, Zendaya was there.
Yeah, she was dating Jacob Elordi at the time.
Yes.
And I made a beeline for her post-awards.
That's right. As soon as the dinner finished, Pearcey, I've never seen him run so fast. Straight up. Zendaya shook her hand.
Full
I was
extension.
just standing in the background, just like, hey.
Yeah, she was shell-shocked. To be fair, I came up with the hand extended for about 100 metres, just a beeline. But we ran into Austin at the urinal, and he had like that twang in his voice. It was pre-Elvis, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember speaking to him afterwards as well, and he was talking to me the whole time in character because he was playing Elvis. Yeah. So it was like, hey man, how you go? I really like what you're doing at home. I was like, whoa, this is so weird.
Tricky,
and
Baz Luhrmann
as well.
He was there.
Obviously, he was there.
Yeah.
I think they were mid-filming at that point.
They were.
And coming up to us and talking about how much they loved what we were doing. And that was just completely surreal. It was just like we were in a dream.
It's funny because you say like with the cricket experience, like when you're in the moment, you don't quite compute what's happening in real time. So like I think back, I'm like, oh my God, like Baz, like Moulin Rouge, like these films that are just so, formative in terms of my upbringing. And I'm like, I'm talking to the guy, but it's not quite, translating in the moment. So pretty surreal. But I guess we did also have a recent encounter, which was pretty cool in the UK together when you were on your fellowship and I was traveling with the family. We had a friend who hooked us up to the premiere of One Battle After Another, and we found ourselves in a pretty cool situation, like face to face with some of the biggest actors and one of the biggest directors in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's right. ended up sitting front row at the premiere in London, and
The cheap seats, but actually ended up being like the best seat in the
yeah.
house. Yeah.
we just came across them like after meeting someone.
There's a mutual friend of ours. Yeah.
Ended up front and center, walking down the red carpet and not really knowing what we were doing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, sitting there with the whole cast, with Leo and the whole crew come out and
Benicio del Toro, Towner Taylor. It was insane, wasn't it? Like one of those
5 meters in front of us, and we're like, wow, that's quite. You don't ever expect to see these sort of people in the flesh.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty crazy moment.
amazing. I mean, Sean Penn was it. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson did this introduction, but the funniest part I think of that was we were like being ushered because we were again like the cheap seats and had walked the red carpet. But what they do these days, I didn't realise, is bring in all the TikTokers to sort of hype up the red carpet, usher them in, and then upstairs is where the sort of, I guess, the film stars come through, and they often would come at the very last minute. But we were trying to like get a glimpse. We didn't realise we would get the full frontal. So remember we did about 10 trips to the toilet just trying to catch a glimpse of somebody, and they were saying, come on guys, it's either now or never, and we ended up in there, and it was a pretty cool surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life outside of homie, as I say, it's a big part of your life, my life. So what are some of the things that you do outside of work, outside of sort of these other endeavours such as taking photos, videos, etc.? Like I know you're into your golf games kind of coming on, and again, I guess that translates through your cricket career as a junior. Like, is there any other activities or outlets that you're sort of focused on?
What's outside of work? Is that a thing? Is it?
You tell me.
Nah, you were always very big on time off is just as important as time on.
Yeah, I had a lot of sayings. Any other sayings you remember?
Yeah,
from...
there was plenty. We're building the plane as we're taking off.
Yeah.
Or putting down the runway as we're flying the plane or something like that.
Yeah, couple of Nickisms.
There's so many Nickisms that the staff, still repeat to this day.
Great legacy.
Thank you so much for that. But yeah, I mean, like outside of work, it obviously does take up a lot of your life. I remember Dad saying to me when we were starting out, he was like, be careful, this thing will consume you. And I was like, oh, shut up, Dad. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? So, but he was definitely right looking back on it. You think about it, 24 hours a day, when you're so passionate about something and you want to make it work, and you're always thinking about how it can be better and what you can do. So it is really challenging. And I've really found that really hard to switch off. But probably more so in the last few years as the team's gotten bigger, and we're not worried about the whole thing falling over as much.
Funny that happened as soon as I left.
So obviously love golf and hanging out with mates on the weekends, and hanging out with my partner Megan and our dog Willow. So it's getting out to nature. Like obviously, being a country boy and being in the city, for so many years now, I always get the urge to get back out into, whether it's going down to rainforests or, out into paddocks and stuff. So I very much like to get out of the city when I can.
I want to litigate that a bit further, like in terms of, this like tension or struggle in terms of finding the off time. And I think you probably have accrued more annual leave than anybody I know. But the early days, I know it was really hard in terms of the push-pull and, sort of maybe things falling to the wayside if you're not in the room, etc. How have you been able to sort of, I guess, develop that muscle and be more comfortable in terms of going away? I mean, I know Gold Coast is a special place for you guys, and you went to Bali, and it was like almost this celebration. Oh my God, thank God Marcus has finally gone on a holiday. Like, how did you give yourself permission to do that? Was it, as you say, the state of affairs just were more, you felt like it was, steadier waters, or... Yeah, was that a challenge, or it has been a challenge for you?
Oh, definitely, it's been a challenge. We've been through so many. It's been a roller coaster of ups and downs and struggles, and just wanting this thing to work and prosper and live on, long after us. So it's been a challenge to sort of let go and hand the reins on, especially in the early years, but. Now we've just the team around us are just amazing, at what they do, and so thankful for the crew we have and my colleagues, and just so trusting in, I could pack up and leave tomorrow and this whole thing would be completely fine. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. So it's really nice to be able to go away and go on this fellowship like I did for 10 weeks and just know that the engine and the cogs are still turning and it's probably more successful than it's ever been. So that's an amazing feeling for sure.
And flip of the coin, like how good has it been for you personally to just take that time after a period of just being so heavily committed? I guess there might be people listening who are just so invested in their careers and don't take work or don't have the capacity to, etc. But what has that done for you kind of overall?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard question to answer because I'm constantly, thinking about stuff. So I find it I've really struggled to wind down. Getting more into exercise and boxing and things like that have sort of really helped me over the last couple of years.
Yeah, cool.
I found that to be really useful. Things like golf and exercising has been a big part of that.
Yeah.
So
is that part of your routine, on a daily basis? Are you sort of, now, for me personally, even pre-recording, I want to make sure I've done something, or even when I'm home with the kids or I'm helping Danny with her work, whatever it might be, it's such an important thing for me to be able to do just to feel good in myself and go, right, I've ticked that off. No matter what happens today, at least I've got that endorphin release. Is it a daily practice or is it something you're doing, a few days? Or?
Yeah, 3 to 4 times a week when I can.
It's showing as well.
When things are permitting, obviously try and get out there and get some fresh air pretty much. So, it's been a big part of the journey over the last few years and it's really helped mentally for sure.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying this is ever going to be the case, but might be a tricky question. Have you ever thought about or envisaged what your life would look like without Homie? Whether it's in the future or just even as an interesting sort of, scenario, what would Marcus be doing, do you think, if that wasn't, in a day-to-day?
Yeah, I do think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a big part of our lives for so long now, 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So it's hard to think about what else is out there. And you still have that thing where you're like, oh, could I get a job anywhere else? You know what I mean?
Definitely you could.
But thinking about I don't have a uni degree. I don't I've had to learn all this by doing what else could I do now? I've always thought that, maybe I'm not employable, but definitely working on things on the side as well. I've been working on this as alongside the fellowship report, also working on an app that might help stem the flow of overproduction for fashion brands and fashion designers and creators that want to create product.
Yep.
So that's taken up a bit of brain space over the past 12 months. And we'll be launching that with the Good Friday appeal this year.
Amazing.
So, I definitely think there's life after Homie and, when that may be, I'm not sure. But at the moment, I'm loving what we're doing at the moment because there's so much growth happening at the moment. There's every week we're getting hit up to do partnerships and collaborations and
asked to be on podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a great time to be in the business, and with all of that comes the support of more young people through the program.
Yeah.
So
I guess other outlets outside of work, first of all, there's one question I'd like to ask, which is a sponsored segment by the Merry People Oberon Boot, new adventure. But, what's a trip that sticks out in your mind, a favourite travel story or it could even be a night out you've had, but has there been an adventure that really sticks out for you and is fond sort of, in your history so far?
Yeah, I mean, all those travels we spoke about, in Brazil, playing soccer in the favelas, you learn so much from it. And I feel like that is the best part about traveling.
Yeah.
And encourage everyone, especially young people going through their 20s.
Yeah.
It sort of really can do wonders for you as a young fella.
You're right. I mean, there's so many safety nets around, and then you find yourself, you say hop on a plane and it's 8 hours and you plonk yourself into this country that, is so different culturally and whatnot. You're right. It's such a special experience to be immersed in that, and how contrast it is to, again, how privileged we are back home. Yeah. I mean, I remember that the trip, one of the highlights was we would always play a game of soccer, as you say, and suss that out. A couple of the boys are avid soccer players. And, we'd done the bike ride that day and put 100K into the legs, so they're pretty heavy. And then it's humid as, steaming hot at night time, and we're on this soccer pitch. I remember one night in particular, my feet just felt so hot. Like I was like, they're so warm, and it felt like they were almost like permeating. Like it was just like there was honestly like, you know, fumes coming from them. They probably stank as well. But I remember taking my shoes off at the end of the game. Like, oh, my feet are really hot, and my whole feet had just been blistered. Like, so it was just red raw underneath. And the next day we're pedaling on this bike, and I remember like wincing in pain and whatnot. But I'll never forget, that experience of arriving at that school and just. It is one of those things that will stick with me forever. Just sort of seeing the faces light up and just that walk in and how welcomed we were and how, you know, we felt in that moment. It was so surreal. So I'm glad, you know, fast forward to 10 years later and we're here. And, you know, for me, like this project talking about life outside of work, you know, again, there's that tunnel vision because, you know, it was such a big part of our identities. But I definitely felt myself, you know, missing or lacking something. You know, life is still so full, and I've got the best job in the world, being the primary carer and supporting Dani with her business and, you know, whatnot. But I do miss so much of what we had or have, and just walking downstairs and getting a coffee with you and you know, the team and all those little fireside things. So this has kind of been for me an attempt to reinvigorate, you know, a component of that, because the connection side of things, the people stuff, I just loved so much. So it's definitely been a thing that I'm very grateful for and glad that I've sort of started it, because there was this trepidation around, you know, like home yet's like I'd always do these school talks being like, you just got to get started. Yeah. Like that's the key, that's the advice. And then I'd meet with people like Mike, who's behind camera right now, and Jack Post, etc. And they're like, and Tommy Little, and, you know, one of our great mates. And he's like, you just got to get started, mate. You just got to do it. And I'm preaching this to people. And then there was this angst and anxiety around actually making it happen. So I'm stoked to be here now talking to you, you know, and doing this project. And thanks for being a guest. But a couple of other little rapid fire questions just to sort of round things out. Like, I know this already, and I've heard it today as well, be the same answer. And fortunately, you're wearing the North Melbourne top. But your coffee order would also be a
iced latte.
Yeah.
With half a sugar.
Yeah. Okay. So half a sugar is different. So we had Nick Larkey. We did obviously on the show as a guest as well, but iced latte. And you're an all-weather iced latte freak as well.
Yeah, a little bit of a freak in that sense. I might go to a hot latte in the depths of winter.
Yep. Similar to Sub, to be fair, as well. And what would like Marcus's best day look like in terms of, let's say you don't have to work that day, it's an RDO. Like, what are you doing from AM to PM? Where are you eating?
It's usually probably Boxing Day.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
I've got the cricket on TV, and Dad's fired up the wood-fired pizza oven, and he's made the dough, and we're tucking into a few pizzas and a few tinnies watching the cricket. That's probably my ideal day.
So that starts at like 9 a.m. and goes to a 9 p.m. or what's the?
Yeah, and the rest.
Yeah.
That's always a cracking day. But yeah, other than that, I think, you know, getting out of the city, out into nature and spending time with family and friends is good, or find myself on a golf course somewhere would be ideal.
So I want to ask you a bit about another outlet, or I guess like an area. You're always at the forefront, cutting edge of things. I feel like you'd always come with ideas, being like, hey, like I've got this idea, I've seen this, and I was always sort of the practical one, sort of trying to stress test it and thinking about whether we could actually implement it. So probably rain in your parade a lot. But AI is a big part of your life now. I feel like you're really into, you know, that outside looking in and your LinkedIn content, etc. Like, where did that come from, and what do you think about that, and what are you excited by? What are you scared of?
Yeah, probably all of the above there.
Yeah.
I feel like, I just sort of to get into it, like as sort of with photography and video, like you learn by doing, and sort of when it was all coming out and just playing with, you know, ChatGPT and all the various tools there are, seeing what they can do and what the limits are. For me, where it's been really beneficial is that it can take a sketch and make it, you know, look like a lifelike garment, for example, which has sort of really helped us, especially for the AFL knits. And we wouldn't have to, you know, worry about buying 500 units of a certain team and then, you know, like getting them here and hoping they sell, and then having a lot of leftover stock, for example. So I feel a bit funny when it comes down to having people like fake people in the content, and have just been looking at how to use it to increase efficiency and optimize the work that we do. Pretty much.
And what about life outside of work, like everyday life? Are you using it to come up with a, you know, coffee order concoction, or, you know, is there any service, you know, that provides you?
I'd tell you where it was really handy was my trip overseas, like punching in where I needed to be, at what time, who I was meeting, like, as you know, I'm the most unorganized person going around.
We can talk about
that. Have thoughts. No, it was really good, plugging in itineraries and, booking hotels and
Margaritaville in New York's,
yeah, exactly.
True to form.
That was really handy. I encourage, if anyone's traveling, plug their details into ChatGPT or something, and it will spit out, where you're going, what time, and if you struggle with organisation, that was really helpful for me, for sure.
Awesome.
100%.
Anything that you're watching, listening, reading right now? I mean, I guess from the listening front, you also have an alter ego, DJ Crooks here. We used to early days go to this awesome pub run by some mates, 56 Bricks on Chapel Street after we'd work in the homie store, and you'd spin. It was a lot of Kendrick Lamar at the time, and sort of the old school R&B was sort of your
definitely
that
your
was,
MO. Great time in our lives. 90s classic bangers. There was a lot of Ministry of Sound stuff there, some dedicated nights. So, we worked hard and we played hard as well.
Do the decks still come out at any occasion, or are they sort of accruing
very
cobwebs?
Special occasions now. Parties maybe. But I think I'm past those days. But
Love it, mate. We hope to see more of it one day. Bring back DJ Crooksy. He's awesome. Well, mate, thanks for your time. It's been awesome to speak to you in a different context. It's probably a bit strange for both of us, just sort of focus on non-homie related stuff. But I'm a big fan of yours, obviously. I'm so excited for your future, mate, because you've got so many irons and that are on, and they're just all firing on all cylinders. So congratulations on everything. Thanks to our listeners. We really appreciate you, and also to Mike on the mic and Joel on the camera. And we'll catch you guys next time on None of Your Business. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Cheers, mate.
None of your business. None of your business. None of your business. None of your business.